In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. Good morning, and welcome to this very impromptu morning stream and fire talk. Dre's era. If you want to come live on air,
by all means come live on air. The waiting room is open because it's the usual story. I'm bored out of my mind. I've been up for 4 hours, and what did somebody say the other day? Someone said the other day that we're the only, I think it may have been Mark Byrne, I apologise, or Mark Antigua, one of the two, and they made a comment in the YouTube comment section after on the replay, and they essentially just said, you know what I love about this show is the fact that you guys are the only channel which kind of does a quote unquote live reaction to, or post reaction to everything that's happened the day before or on the day or whatever. And I think that what I love about doing about these streams is that I can just chat about anything and people are willing to listen, basically. That's the main thing. I can't really talk that loud because it is 7:30 in the morning and no one's awake in the world. That's what I love about training so early in the morning, is that no one's awake. It's great. I've got the gym to myself. It is fantastic. And good morning to everybody that is here. So we've got, like I said, Firetog, Dre's there if you want to come live on air, by all means. Nasty Balls is here, Theo, Cy Bellamy. Who else is here? FPL Cheddar, Ko Vag. Don't recognise the name. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button. Zain Hussein, hello. AFX Harvey, more to the point. Gabriel DeRop, Semi-Sweet Potato, and that's it, done. So, yeah, yesterday, quite extraordinary. I cannot believe that West Brom were 3-0 up after what? 35-40 minutes. So to give you a bit of the breakdown yesterday, what happened. So I basically said to myself, right, once I finish this Crystal Palace versus Everton stream, and by the way, a complete testament to you lot or anybody that watches our show. So basically I've just done a voice message to Dan and I just simply said, look, when I hit the stream button, I actually, do you know what? I'll let you into a bit of a behind the walls conversation that I had with FPL Boona and Llama after the Llama Lounge that we did the other day. And I'm not going to lie, I just simply said this. I just said, do you know what I kind of love about what we do now is that I can pretty much hit the stream button and there's going to be at least 50 to 100 of you hardcore Elite FPL followers which will listen to myself or Jason just speak absolute garbage, but you're wanting to watch and enjoy what we put out there. And yesterday was a prime example of that. I just thought there's no point in me sitting around doing jack in my bedroom, like essentially watching some Warzone streams from the Broken Machine. And I just thought, why don't I just stream myself? And yeah, we had an average viewers of 280 people just watching the dribble coming out of my mouth. It was quite incredible. It's a testament to you lot that do tune in for this. And do you know what I find really funny about doing these shows is that me as a fan of Andy Let's Talk FPL, FPL Dave, when they do live streams, when Davey FPL does his live streams, when James of Planet FPL, there we are, Semi-Sweet Potato, when James of Planet FPL does his live streams, when I'm in my car or when I'm out for a walk, it's fantastic listening to a live stream. So it'd be interesting to hear what you guys are doing right now, listening into this show, because I'd be genuinely interested. But yeah, so yesterday I did the Crystal Palace versus Everton game. I was expecting a low-scoring game. It turned out that way. A bit of it's the usual thing, the Steve-O curse, the Steve-O jinx. I had initially up to, I think it was something like the day before, so Friday evening, I had Calvert-Lewin and James Rodriguez. But I decided that, no, I kind of want Man City coverage. I need double Man City coverage, and the only way I could do it was I couldn't have Sterling. I didn't want to get Sterling in because of his history. So I just thought, to hell with it. I'll bring in Foden and I'll have Richarlison. And I genuinely had Richarlison up to, I think it was the following day. And then it then hit me. I was like, I've got to have someone from Chelsea. I have to. This game is too important for me not to have somebody. There's going to be goals in it. So I saw the lineup, team news, whatever you want to call it, on Fantasy Scout, and it said Abraham was going to be up top. I then read a brief report about Abraham from Wednesday or Thursday evening saying he performed well, and I thought, do you know what? Stuff it. So I got in Abraham for Richarlison. And mainly because I thought, you know what, Crystal Palace at home, it's going to be tough. To be honest, it didn't sound like it was a tough game for Everton. I think they just got through it. I think they were the most attacking team in the game. They had a lot of chances. After all of that, it turns out I missed out on 2 points. 2 points. Zaha getting a yellow card, a bit of a kick in the stomach, but whatever. And yeah, so after the Crystal Palace Everton game, I thought, right, I need to get some petrol for my car. I want to get out the flaming house anyway, because I do like going for walks and stuff. So I just thought, stuff this. I went to a petrol station, which is ironically far away. And I went to a specific spot. Oh, and stuff that. I went to my favourite cricket ground just to see if anything was happening. But whether people are aware or not, the weather at the moment specifically in London, is very grey, very, very windy. And when I went up there to watch some of the cricket that was being played, it was starting to rain. I was just like, oh, this is just such a pain in the backside. I just want to sit and watch a cricket match without having to think about anything. So I just thought, right, let's just find out what the score was. And when I saw it was 3-0, I just laughed. I just laughed because I just thought, yep. Number one, the first thing that came to mind is, oh dear, Werner's blanked, or blanking. Number two, what the hell is going on? And number three, typical. The one Chelsea player I bring in for probably a one-off game isn't doing anything. So I drive home, and the problem is, and I'm sure everybody can feel this or relate with this, I kind of, once you know what's happening in a football match, despite the fact prior to that you'd forgotten it even existed, it's constantly playing on your mind because you play this poxy game. And I thought, I'm going to have to keep up to date with this now. So I come home, went on YouTube, started watching some SoCal Warzone streams. Streaming. I then watched some bodybuilding, flaming videos, and I did kind of forget about it. And then surprise, surprise, of course, once you come out of the video you're watching, it then says recommended to you, and it says highlights of Crystal Palace Everton. I thought, oh yeah, the football. Checked on my phone, I saw it was 3-1, and I was like, oh wow. See, Azpilicueta assist. Of course he did. Mason Mount. I mean, it was one of those assists where, whenever I think assist, I think someone like Kevin De Bruyne, putting a ball through, or Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson putting in a cross and the player heads it in or puts it in the back of the net or something like this. Things like, for example, Harry Kane, when he just kicks a ball and it just, even though he knows where Son is going to be running into space, he just boots the ball randomly. Son picks it up and clinically finishes it. I just think, yeah, it's an assist. I get that, but it's not, to me, it's not an assist. And then yesterday, of course, Azpilicueta passes it to Mason Mount. Mason Mount dribbles it past the player and then just goes, you know what, I'm going to have a shot. Whack. 3-1. And I've completely forgotten else who scored. Apart from Abraham, who's the other player? I know Havertz got a goal. Let's just quickly check. I've completely forgotten who scored the second goal. Who was it? Hudson-Odoi. That's right. So, Hudson-Odoi got the second. It was 3-2 for what seemed like an eternity. And then I think it was like, the 93rd minute? Something like that, 94th minute. From ball bouncing around, Christensen hits it, deflects off a defender, and lo and behold, who's there waiting in the right area? Tammy Abraham. And I was just like, yes! I was really, really just like, thank God. But then, of course, my immediate thought process was, how many points did I miss out on? And like I said, it turns out to be 2, because Richarlison got a yellow card in that game, would you believe? So Richarlison got a yellow card, so I missed out on 2 points, which is so far so good. So I'm kind of overjoyed with that. But we then had, obviously, the other kick-off, which was Burnley 0, Danny Ings 1. And just to let people know as well regarding Timo Werner, so I listened into Trigger Lips' 10-minute podcast, and I'm so glad that I've discovered / he came on the show last week, because now I've discovered another podcast which is Impromptu. In fact, he even said on the recording last night, this is an impromptu stream or podcast, whatever. And he just talked about Timo Werner for 10 minutes and essentially that useless. He's not Premier League proven. It doesn't matter how good he was in Germany. He's not proven in the Premier League. And he was talking about the whole thing about various, let's be honest here, dullard managers and safety managers, whatever you want to say, and big names in the fantasy football community. And just basically saying, why did they captain Werner when there was more better / safer options in Kevin De Bruyne, Sterling maybe, Mane, Salah, Kane, Son, possibly, we don't know. But yeah, Werner's flattering to deceive by all accounts, and a lot of people have sold again, and he's finally dropped to 0.1. Crying out. And of course, last night, Jason did that wonderful edited video. I went to listen into James's Ask James from yesterday, and basically I saw a notification of Elite FPL. I was like, huh? And it was Jason, and I was just like, oh, what's he done? And then, I mean, when I saw the video and when I saw it was entitled Timo Werner, I just knew that he was going to get rid of him for Jimenez. I mean, that was about, if you didn't know that was going to be happening, then you're a friggin' idiot. So he brought in Jimenez last night, so he's now caught the price rise and caught the price drop. So well done to Jason last night. And obviously he took a -4 for him yesterday. He was going to do a -8. Could you imagine if he did a -8? Because he was going to bring in Phil Foden. But I'll tell you what, if Podence doesn't start today, he is going to be spitting feathers. But yeah, Burnley 0, Southampton 1. Danny Ings coming in at last. Well, I say at last. I mean, I've put one of the words in the title as patience is a virtue, and all these people got rid of Danny Ings after that 1-0 loss to Crystal Palace. And what's he done since? 3 goals. 2 against Tottenham and 1 against Burnley. I was one of those sellers, specifically because I was losing 0.1, and I don't want to keep going on about it. I can't stand going on about it, but I hit the Wildcard because I knew I was losing 0.3 and I just couldn't bring in certain players. And I couldn't risk it. So I'm, it's one of those where, you know, if I'd have stuck with, if a lot of people, to be honest with you, if a lot of people had just stuck with the team that they started the season with, do you know what? I think that they'd be a lot better. The Conqueror, I can't talk any louder. Sorry, mate. If you don't like it, don't watch. I can't talk any louder. This is as loud as it's going to get. Turn the volume up. So, yeah, basically, if if we'd have all just stuck with our teams, I reckon I'd argue that we'd be better off than what we are now. And I look at it and I just think the players that I got rid of specifically, Saka, St. Maximin, Ings. Well, Danny Ings, yeah, you could argue, why did you get rid of him? Fair point, very good point. But like I said, 0.1 loss. I couldn't do it. But Saka, St. Maximin, absolutely useless. And yeah, I've now thought to myself, do you know what I'm actually seriously considering doing? Just targeting West Brom. And if I can, it's virtually impossible. But if Tammy Abrahams goes up by 0.1, if I get 0.1 out of him, which is essentially ain't going to happen, I'm going to be bringing in Danny Ings for Abraham and have Ings versus West Brom. I then don't need to do the Sterling in for Salah, which is off the top of my head something that the initial plan was versus Leeds. I'm going to wait on everything. This is the good thing. I can wait. The players that I've got in aren't going to be losing any value, so we'll find out what Sterling does today versus Leicester. I keep reiterating this point, but Jason's got him as captain. We all know Jason's luck when it comes to captaincy, and he'll probably get you 2+ goals. But anyway, enough about that. I know Drezera is in the waiting room, but he better still be there. Yes, he is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on Drezera, and let's find out. But let's just quickly see a few other people that are chatting in the live chat. A lot of people here. There's more people chatting now than what there was yesterday during the Crystal Palace game. And ironically, that's when I want people to have conversation, because that way I actually get to be able to speak during it without anything. Adams versus West Brom, next best thing. Yes, he got the assist last night, didn't you? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm fully aware of how the price rising works. Thank you. Watching's blank because I got him now, Grekla saying. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. MSK, who shall I replace Werner with? Anybody. I don't know. Jimenez. Vish saying, if Mitrovic blanks, I'm going to switch to Che Adams. Blanks against Aston Villa. I don't know. Miles A saying, I need Kane to get a double figure haul today. There's a chance of it. Jensen Underwood caught the price rise from Werner to Jimenez. Eric, should I wait for Doherty's back to 6 million selling? Want to bring in Fernandes? If you want to bring in Fernandes, just bring him in. Bring him in. Of course, yesterday as well. Yeah, Fernandes getting double-digit return. Well done, Leaf. Went with Havertz instead of Werner 5 minutes before deadline. So at least I have a Chelsea coverage, considering Havertz to Mahrez or Brewster / Havertz to Ings and Elzate. Let's bring on Drezera. Let's bring on Dre. He's going to be a lot louder than me, I can assure you. So let's bring him on and talk. Morning, Dre. Morning, Dre. Hello, Dre. How's it going? You're up early?
I am up early indeed. I've been up for a few hours. How are things? I'm feeling good. Let's get on with it. Let's do this.
Why have you been up for 3 hours? A few hours?
I mean, it's a mixture of, it's a mixture of just me, having a good night's sleep, and also I'm at my girlfriend's house, so when you sleep at someone else's house, you tend to wake up. Well, at least for me, I wake up early usually.
Talk to me about yesterday. We'll start with the first game. Brighton versus Man United. Your thoughts on that game and any opinions about what happened in it?
Wow, what a game! What a game! I didn't own any. I didn't own any Man United this game week, and I guess I did have Greenwood last week, so I'm kind of glad that that goal was disallowed early on. But it was quite an incredible game. I mean, I feel that Man United was fortunate with the draw, but I guess with the rules of the game, I read up on the rules. Even when the final whistle blew, because the handball incident happened before the end of the game. It's why VAR can double check on it. Very cruel to Brighton, but yeah. Whew, what were your thoughts, Steve-O?
When I saw the penalty given, it's one of those where I said on the stream yesterday that at the end of the day, Mopay is... Was it Mopay that gave the penalty away?
Yeah, Mopay gave the penalty away, yeah.
You know, as he's jumping, he's kind of putting his fist towards the ball, and you can't have your hands in a quote-unquote unnatural position, even though it's not technically unnatural, because the reality is that you need your arms to kind of jump for momentum and everything.
Yeah, you need to get that leverage up. But yeah, very cruel, absolutely very cruel. And I mean, Bruno owners are very lucky.
Yeah, to be honest with you though, there's been a lot of chat on Twitter that I've noticed about people not complaining but making the point that you may as well just have a team of penalty takers. But if that's the strategy moving forward, that's the strategy. What do you think on it?
I mean, I guess with the new rules in place, I guess penalties can be given easier. But I think partly, I don't think that plan's gonna work for the whole of the season, because I just feel that with players still getting up to scratch with a much more shorter pre-season, I think defences will be much more savvy, and I think having a team for the penalty takers, I think it's an oversight to other assets available. But that's just me.
Before the game, everybody was talking about, Man United may have a problem versus Brighton. Brighton could actually cause them some serious problems. It did apparently turn out that way. Apparently Brighton had a lot of attempts on Man United's goal, the post being hit several times, Trossard having a good game. Any thoughts on Trossard?
I mean, obviously I've heard some people bring in Trossard as a punt. People might not be happy because at the end of the day, it is a points business. But I feel that Trossard owners, I think they should definitely hold Trossard owners. I mean, he did very well. Trossard did well. Lamptey again, thriving well. And yeah, Brighton is looking a very good unit. I mean, even against Chelsea, they played well. But I think Brighton assets could be Bournemouth assets of a few seasons ago. I feel they could be dark horses for managers, I feel.
Morning, Dread FPL. This is great. I haven't seen Match of the Day yet, so Dre's Air updates first thing is the one. Fire Tog. I need Kevin De Bruyne to score 16 to justify my Bruno to Kevin De Bruyne hit. Hashtag not going to happen. Your thoughts, Dre's Air, on that move that Fire Tog did, Bruno out for Kevin De Bruyne? I mean, this isn't even with hindsight. I personally wouldn't have done it personally, but what do you think?
I mean, personally, Fire Tog can keep making these decisions to be below me in the mod league. But joking aside, I think I would have gone elsewhere. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is essential, but Bruno. The thing with Bruno is, even in a bad game, he will still get you points. That's the thing with Bruno, because of his assists and being a penalty magnet is mad. And Brighton had 18 shots to Man U 7, 5 of which I'm just reading up the stats now.
Good God, that's extraordinary. And like you said, Brighton do look like a team to look at. Moving on to the game that I did cover it, but the game I covered, which was Crystal Palace versus Everton. The usual suspects scoring for Everton. Do you think there's an argument, and I think there is, to maybe potentially go double Everton attacking Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison?
I think it's a good choice. I mean, Carlo Ancelotti is getting the best out of Calvert-Lewin, and as we've discovered, Richarlison seems to be the main penalty taker when Gylfi Sigurdsson isn't playing. So I feel that that's a good shout. I wouldn't personally go for that. I'd rather choose one or the other. But I think if you want to go attack, I think they are good choices. I think also James Rodriguez is also a good shout. But I feel like on another day he would have got lots of points. But Calvert-Lewin missed out on a few chances.
Yeah, he seems to need... I mean, I could be completely wrong here, but for every 4 attempts, he seems to score a goal. Techers, good morning. I'm half asleep, but here we'll chill and listen. Well, you'll be mainly listening into Dre's era. MSK asking, how long is Jesus out for? Dre, do you have any idea how long Jesus out for? I believe it's like 3 to 4 weeks.
I feel it is a month because if Brazil announce that Jesus is not going to play for the Brazil internationals, I feel that it's going to be upwards of a month. And I mean, speaking of Man City, I'm very confused about Man City. I mean, they've only got 13 fit players available, hence why they're going to fill their bench with some academy players, which I find that to be crazy. Of course, we'll probably talk about that later, but I'm just finding that very mad ting, so to speak.
Fire Talk making a point here. I didn't like the way Fernandes dropped once Van der Beek came on in the game. Van der Beek, 7 million. If he started to become a regular feature, is he someone to look at?
I mean, I'd wait until he finally plays at 490 because to me, I just feel for Ollie. I think Ollie is very rigid in his formation. For some reason, he just doesn't play Van der Beek. I don't know if it's fitness or doesn't trust him, but if you want to pick Van der Beek, I'd wait at least a couple of game weeks.
Do you know, it's funny, it kind of, now thinking about it, just kind of reminds me of how stubborn Solskjaer was with Greenwood last year, and, you know, finally brings him on in the second half of the season, and we all know what Greenwood did. We all know what Fernandes did when he joined United. I'm just thinking that maybe, you know, Van der Beek is rested for every single game up until, say, January. The second he starts playing, he starts doing really, really well, and Man United start performing. Who knows? Cameron Rawcliffe, Castagna in for Egan, and Ings for Jimenez. Ings/Jimenez for Werner has got to be done. What do you think on that, Dre Zera? So Castagna in for Egan and Ings/Jimenez in for Werner.
So here's the thing. I think, for me, this is my own personal opinion. I'm going to give Werner at least until game week 5 for me. I've kept Werner from game week 1. I'm going to be stubborn because I feel that even though Werner didn't get a points return and I did captain him, I felt that I was happy by the way he played in the sense that he wasn't like terrible, but I'm just going to hold on to him. But to his question, I think Ings is a very interesting pick. I like Ings a lot. But I think John Egan, I think with Sheffield United defenders, honestly, I think Sheffield United, if they don't get their act together, I think they're going to be whipping boys this season. So yeah, Egan out definitely.
We move on to the West Brom versus Chelsea game. You had Werner captain. We'll look at your team in a minute. Before the game, what were you thinking? And then during the game, and then after the game, tell us your thoughts about everything regarding this particular fixture. And
my God! So miraculously, I'm actually so yesterday I was feeling a bit unwell, so I was lying in bed watching the Chelsea game, and obviously having Werner, having Havertz, and then before the game I was like, right, time for a relatively easy Chelsea win, but there was anything but. I mean, oh my lasagna! During the game, I was in shock. My jaw dropped when it was 1-0, then it was 2-0, then it was 3-0, and then I thought, if anyone owns Callum Robinson, all 10 of you or one of you listening to the stream, fair play. But yeah, I was just in absolute shock. But I came onto the Hangouts on the Discord, to which, if you haven't been to the Discord, guys, link is in the Streamlabs in description below. But anyway, I was talking to them and said, yeah, there's going to be goals. And there were goals in the second half. And thank God Havertz actually got me a return. But when Abraham scored, I was like, my first thought was, wow, Steve-O. Steve-O's a genius. I thought you were a genius when Abraham scored that last-minute equaliser, you know?
I said on...
Yeah, go on.
Somebody on the stream yesterday, they were in fact, stuff that everybody was saying during the Crystal Palace versus Everton game. Why have you gone Abraham? Why have you gone Abraham? Why have you gone Abraham? And it doesn't matter how many times. Well, I kind of stopped explaining myself after about 30 seconds, but you get the idea. And of course, the second the team news was announced, it was, Steve-O, you're a genius. Steve-O, what do you know that we don't? Steve-O, I can't believe you picked Abraham. Well done to you. And I'm just thinking, 2 minutes ago, you were just slagging me off, saying that you're a fool. Now I'm the greatest FPL manager. Just shut up. And at the end of the day, from a selfish point of view, I was hoping that during this 3-3, I was hoping obviously Chelsea would come back and Abraham would get me a double-digit haul and return me more points than Richarlison. Like I said, it turned out to be 2 less points, but the reality is that it was 94th minute for Abraham.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm very lucky. Let's be real here. The ball was just pinged across the box. It was deflected and landed at Tammy Abraham's feet. You know,
open goal. Yeah,
I wanted Chelsea coverage, and he was the cheapest option. You must have been, though, let's be real here, you must have been extremely disappointed. 3 goals for Chelsea and Timo Werner, absolutely nothing.
I mean, deep down, yes, but at the same time, I think to myself, you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I can't change it. There's no point beating myself up about it because I felt looking at the fixtures, looking at form, looking how inept West Brom's defence is, I felt to myself, you know what? Chelsea should be scoring goals, and they did. Unfortunately, none of them involved Timo Werner. So it is what it is. I'm going to hold on to Werner for a few more game weeks, and if it doesn't pay off, it doesn't pay off. But yeah, at the end of the day... It is what it is, but yeah, I'm just lucky. I'm just happy that I'm just happy that Havertz did something, so it's better than nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Havertz. Were you impressed by him in the game last night?
I mean, let's be fair. Chelsea for a lot of the game, they were apart from Reece James. And like 1 or 2 performances from like other players in the team, Chelsea were absolutely below par, and they fought hard for a point. But yeah, Havertz was all right. Havertz is getting better. I mean, I did think that Havertz is going to be a good pick, especially once Ziyech and Pulisic come back. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I want to hold Werner and Havertz, because I feel with Pulisic and that coming back, Chelsea should be good in attack moving forward. Forget about the defence. I think apart from Reece James, don't even bother with Chelsea defence this season at this rate.
I haven't, obviously, I've only seen basically the goals of the game last night, but were West Brom value for their 3 goals, or were they just lucky? I mean, I've seen the goals and they were lucky to, so to speak, get them. But...
I mean... Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. For a punt, there's goals in the team, but I think with West Brom, I think it's one of those situations where, are they really a fashionable team to invest in? I would lean to no. But yeah, I mean, they were good value for the goals because at the end of the day, like, they took their chances and. But yeah, but at the same time, Chelsea's defense, like you could have stuck like the Sunday pub team defense, and it would have been better than Chelsea's defense for most of that game. To be fair,
Akshay Papat is asking, how many game weeks do you hold onto a player with expectation for a return before you transfer them out. Well, the reality is this, from my point of view. Let's just take Danny Ings for an example. Everybody's transferred him out. The reason why they brought him in is because of the fixtures versus Crystal Palace, Burnley and West Brom, and they were hoping that he may score against Tottenham. But like all FPL players, they knee-jerk, get him gone, and look what he's done. He's scored 3 goals in 3 games. So actually, I mean, I'm hold my hands up. I'm guilty of doing this, but for me, I usually just say, right, that player has got these good fixtures. If he doesn't do anything across, let's just take, in fact, Zaha as a prime example of someone like this. So Zaha, apart from next week, after next week versus Chelsea, he's got an excellent run of fixtures if he's still at Crystal Palace. And if he doesn't perform in the first 2 fixtures, which I expect to get at least a minimum of an assist, then it's a case of, right, get him gone. But it's one of those where I can't really proclaim anything because I just knee-jerk straight away. But Drazera, what about you? How long do you normally give players before they return?
So last season was when I became more immersed into the fantasy football community with Elite FPL and, learning about opinions and that. So last season, I feel like I was a lot more knee-jerky last season than now. I felt like sometimes I was going more with the crowd than what I think. So this season, in answer to your question, I feel I want to give players that I want to invest in at least a few weeks. So, for example, I had some for game week 1, and they were inept against Everton, but I kept him for game week 2. And as soon as he got 24 points all, I'm very happy with that. But I always had the plan eventually to bring in KDB. So I thought, you know what, 24 points. Thank you, son. Now get out. Do you know what I mean? So I feel I want to give players a chance, at least a few weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's a very hard sticking point. It's kind of like a kettle, really. Like sometimes you can be on the boil and be like, right, out now, and sometimes you can be like, right, calm down. Do you know what I mean? So it can depend, I guess, on a lot of factors.
Do you remember this when? Cy Bellamy saying, I remember when Dre got rid of Barnes and then he got a massive haul. Do you remember
that? Yeah, I do. I had Harvey Barnes for a while, like for weeks on end, and then Harvey Barnes finally came good in a few weeks after. But I think sometimes if you feel too burnt with a player, then you might as well cut your losses. I don't know. I mean, hopefully that won't happen to me this season. But at the end of the day, like, a season is a marathon, and I'm never going to claim myself to be the person that knows, or I'm going to make mistakes. But the best thing I think for any FPL manager is to just, stick to your guns. I think stick to your beliefs. But yeah, I think that based on what. Partly thanks to what Simon has said, I think I'm kind of don't want to pick Harvey Barnes partly for that reason. Unless he suddenly keeps making returns, I think because I felt burnt by him, I kind of feel a bit standoffish by him.
Are you in the same? I know you're not, but do you feel for James Bennett McNulty here saying, Werner, get out my team and don't come back. I trusted you and you let me down. I was mocked and laughed at for captaining you, but I stuck with you because I trust you. Get out and never return. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I mean, I keep telling people, like, this is a weird season because, as you know and I know, a lot of these players haven't had a good pre-season. So, and in Chelsea's case, all their team is not ready yet. So I think that people can be a bit too impatient, and like a bit like the whole Son situation. A lot of people transferring out Son and Firetog transferring out Fernandez after game week 2. Like, these things happen. I mean, I could fully understand you getting rid of Werner, but if you feel that Werner is going to bang, I believe that Werner is playing they're playing Crystal Palace on the 3rd of October next game week. I feel they could do something. There's going to be goals in that game, I believe. So yeah, I just think, just hold on. My personal opinion, but I mean, knee-jerking is a very, very very well-known phrase in FPL. So knee-jerking is real.
Morning Nigs, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Why are you up at 3 o'clock watching this stream? Are you mad? We've got Shrenik, and it's a very good point. Shrenik making the point here. So Werner might just start scoring from game week 4 with Ziyech and Pulisic coming back. Give him time.
Exactly my point. I fully agree with Shrenik Ganguly there, 100%. That's what I'm saying. But if Werner doesn't, after having all that ammunition, then you gotta cut your losses. That's for me though.
Broccoli saying, Mane got me a couple of goals last week and I'm keeping him over Salah. Am I crazy? Well, you're the Liverpool fan, Dre. What are your thoughts on the game tomorrow?
Well, as you are big on your history, Stevo, you would know that Salah has an excellent record at home. Not only an excellent record at home, but he has an excellent record against Arsenal. So all the stars line up to him, but Mane is an amazing and excellent player. So for me, I have either. I mean, Mane could be the shield or the sword, and I guess we'll find out at the end of tomorrow night. But yeah, I don't think he's mad at all.
Shano83, I've got some bad news for you. You've captained Salah, which basically means, like me, you're going to get 2 points. He's saying that he will hold Werner for at least 2 more game weeks. So the final game last night was my team Burnley against Southampton. Did you watch the game by any chance? Or?
I was just keeping an eye on I only had McCarthy in my team. So I was only keeping an eye on the live text chat because and I was glad in doing so because reading up Burnley played as if they had a blunt sword. They didn't attack. I was just glad that the McCarthy clean sheet, but I didn't watch it much. But yeah, did you check out the game or the highlights, Stevo?
I haven't, to be honest with you. It's funny because when your team loses, it's just like, why do I watch to see my team lose? And
I get you.
I did say on the the prediction show, I said, look, if you want to put a bet down 50p on Danny Ings to either score first or last, well, there's your answer. He got the only goal of the game against his former club. It was I haven't seen it or anything, but 1-0. I just roll your eyes and everything. But it's the typical story with Burnley. We either start off well and then we go for a dry patch of not doing anything, and then we end up well, or it's vice versa, where we start badly and then we pick up during like Christmas time, January. So as it stands, avoid Burnley like the plague, to be honest with you. Let's just quickly go for it.
I was just going to say on the Burnley front, if this week coming, next week is the last week of the transfer window, or the week after will be like for all the rest of the like domestic transfers, if you get Harry Wilson from Liverpool, which is a big rumour right now, to Burnley, I would heavily consider Harry Wilson for Burnley if he bangs, because he might take more set pieces than that.
The problem with Harry Wilson is that Sean Dyche probably won't even play him. Sean Dyche is the most stubborn manager you will ever come across. I was amazed. I mean, he only played Dale Stephens because he's absolutely desperate for him because we got no players. So he's slotted straight in. I remember when Patrick Bamford came on loan to us. He did really well in the Championship, and I was thinking, you know what? Hopefully Sean Dyche gives him some game time or anything, but I think he played 11 minutes for us across 6 months. 6 months he played about 11 minutes. And he was absolutely useless. And according to Sean Dyche, he just basically said his attitude absolutely stinks. But look what he's doing now with Leeds and everything. So let's just finally move on to your team. We'd already discussed in depth who you had yesterday in Havertz and Werner. Was there any thought process of you captaining Havertz?
It crossed my mind, but I just felt that feed Werner and he'll score. That was my philosophy. So I thought Werner was going to get the most points, hence why I captained him. Plus the fact that Werner didn't really play against Barnsley, so freshest player theory. But yeah, that was my thoughts in the Havertz thing. Yeah.
Do you see Jimmy Dunn continuing to start the second Ben Mees back or Tarkowski? Nope, it would Kevin Long is the third choice, if you know what I mean. Jimmy Dunn's the fourth choice, so I wouldn't be expecting it.
One thing though is that Leicester has rumoured to be bidding for Tarkowski, so it's one of those watch this space situations with Tarkowski.
Yeah, I would certainly keep an eye on it, but if Tarkowski does leave once Ben Mees fit, he'll be partnered with Kevin Long. So we're looking at your team up on screen right now. Today's players, we have Doherty, Dallas, De Bruyne, St. Maximin if he plays. If not, you'll have you'll have who's that? Who the hell is that? Vokins. Who's that?
Vokins is a defender for Southampton. He's been on the bench the last few games, but he wasn't even in the squad. So if Tierney doesn't come on, then I'll just play with 10 players. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that St. Maximin may play Bamiyang for tomorrow, of course. Podence and Mitrovic today. Of the players that are playing today, who are you most excited to hope that you're going to get returns? My immediate thoughts are Mitrovic and De Bruyne, and I think that I'd be really, really looking out for that Wolves team news with the rumours that Podence may not play today.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the Fulham game is actually on Monday, but for today, talking specific, it's 5:45 kickoff tomorrow evening. But anyway, for today's game, I am really, really interested from Dallas and Doherty because I've been keeping firm on Doherty all this time. Doherty did not play or barely played against that Albanian team in the Macedonian League I forgot the pronunciation of in the Europa League qualifying. But I want Doherty to hold. I am thinking about getting him out in a few weeks' time. But Doherty and Dallas because my defence this season hasn't really been the best for my game week. So that's what I'm interested in, Dallas and Doherty in particular.
Fire Talk saying what happened to Ben Gibson. Essentially, it's the classic thing of Sean Dyche just stuck with the same team. Tarkowski and Ben Mee, he didn't want to interrupt it. Ironically, when Sean Dyche did play him, it was against Everton when we lost 5-1. Ben Gibson actually got the goal, but Ben Gibson just got very, very frustrated not playing, and he just went off to Middlesbrough again, and I think I think he's gone to Norwich. I believe he's gone to Norwich now. What, actually sold him?
I believe so. Yeah, but he's definitely not. I'm pretty sure he's not on the books anymore at Burnley.
M8 asking Werner 2, Ings, Jimenez, DCL, Wood, Bamford. Me personally, get on Danny Ings because he's up against West Brom. But Dre, what do you think?
Sorry, repeat that again. Just to check. No, he's on Norwich on loan. Sorry, repeat that one more time quickly. Sorry.
Werner to Ings, Jimenez, Calvert-Lewin, Wood, or Bamford.
Well, I mean, it's hard to look past DCL at the moment, but if you want to go somewhere apart from DCL, I think Danny Ings is he's just a goal magnet. I mean, he's picked up where he left off last season, and I mean, it's one of those where you've seen Abraham scoring, you've seen Jimenez scoring, you've seen Danny Ings scoring. It seems like the return of the Mac. I mean, last season's goal scorers are pulling up trumps from last season, so I'd lean to Danny Ings, but all of those choices are great options, to be fair.
Who's that?
That's my girlfriend's little kid just suddenly bursting, going, Are you talking about this? No, we're talking football.
Lax Praven is saying Werner out for Martial.
Oh, I wouldn't touch. I don't want to touch Man United with the barge pole apart from Bruno. To be fair,
Talking of
no, thank you. No Martial, no, thank you.
Morning, happy dude Geneva. Talking of Martial, apparently he was doing his usual sulking yesterday. Was there any indication of Martial potentially looking like a bit lively, where you think, you know what, for home games, get him in, or you, like you just said, forget it?
I think it's one of those where Man United midfield looks a bit disjointed. I mean, I think it's the lack of match fitness all around. I mean, they've only had one pre-season game, and you've had Pogba recovering from COVID. You've got Maguire having some trouble with the country of Greece. You've had Greenwood with his situation. I mean, yeah, it's like right now Man United is like an episode of EastEnders, to be fair. Like, so that's why I don't really want to touch Man United right now.
Did you by chance watch Jason's deadline stream yesterday?
No. What happened?
Essentially, he was contemplating whether to do a -4 or mainly a -8. That -8 was going to be Podence out for Foden and, well, Werner in for whoever it was. Oh, Jesus. He only went with the -4, bringing in Werner, hence the video that he did yesterday. What are your thoughts on Jason not just doing a -4, but maybe doing a -8? Do you think that maybe the pressure's getting to him now, being so high up in the Content Creators League?
I mean, I don't know. The way I see it is that it's one of those where it's very early to call. I mean, for me, it's only game week 3. I think it's one of those where you want to plant the seed. You're happy. I'm sure Jason's happy where he is. Obviously, you'd want more points, but yeah, I just hope for Jason's sake that he doesn't make any rash or mad team decisions moving forward, because he's had a good start, and obviously it would be a shame for him to suddenly get derailed and making a crazy hit, so to speak.
Fantasy Scouts Granville is now ahead of him, getting a whopping 30 points thanks to be honest with you, Fernandes. He's got De Bruyne captain, so it's De Bruyne versus Sterling. Your thoughts on the Sterling captaincy, Jason, is done?
Well, you know what? With Jesus injured, right? With Jesus injured, Aguero injured, and I don't think they'll put like 17-year-old Liam Doyle up front against Leicester in a Premier League game. So it could be a situation where Sterling could be playing right up front. So if that actually pops off, then I think that would be incredible. But for my sake and your sake, especially since I have Mr. Ramsey FPL as my head-to-head, he's got Sterling captain. My captain's played, so I pray to the FPL gods that Sterling does nada. But I think he's going to do something.
Do you not think, though, that Sterling playing as a striker isn't his best position, playing his back to goal? Really, his best position is attacking the left or right wing backs and cutting in and passing it and shooting. I actually think that Sterling up front is actually a bad thing, and ironically, it'd probably be better to play that Delap up front.
That is, yeah. And you know what's crazy about Delap? I mean, I can't believe Liam Delap is the son of Rory Delap. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel so old now.
I think it's absolutely incredible that he was here saying that Mark Antigua saying Jason can't rely on Watkins. I tell you what, Watkins away at Fulham, he's looked lively in the cup games. Watkins as a punt for Jason. What do you think?
Could pay off. I mean, you've got Aston Villa is playing Fulham in game week 3, and Villa is playing on game week 4 against Liverpool. So I think Watkins could be a 1-week punt. I don't think that I could eat my words, but I don't think Watkins is going to get anything versus Liverpool. But yeah, is one of those where if there's one defense that I think is inept in this league, one of them is definitely Fulham. So if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, expect another minus whatever that Jason's going to do next week.
Arsenic Gunner saying that Foden actually played false number 9 versus Real Madrid. Is that right, Dre?
Yes, he did. He did. But my question to you is, Stevo, regarding Foden. Foden has played 90 minutes against Bournemouth. Foden has also played 90 minutes in the last Premier League game against Wolves. Do you think that with the injury record, do you think Foden will start against Leicester? That's the question. Because he hasn't... I was just going to say, he's never had that load before in his professional career. Look, what do you think, Steve?
At the end of the day, how old is he? 18, 19, 20, something like that. He's fit enough to be playing Flaming every single day, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm fully aware of the intensity of a professional Premier League club. I'm not stupid, especially Man City and Pep and everything. But I'd like to think that Foden will be playing today, even if it means coming as a sub. But I saw it was FPL Tips with a Z on Twitter doing his predicted lineups, and he thinks it'll be Mahrez on the, I can't remember now, Mahrez on the right or left and Foden on the other, essentially opposite to Mahrez. So I'm pretty confident that Foden will be playing today. I can't see why Pep would drop. I mean, they've barely got anybody. Anyway, I mean, Nana Yar saying Sterling on the left, Mahrez on the right, Foden up top. Quick question for you, Midzi, saying thoughts of Mahrez and Greenwood.
Well, here's the thing. Keep. Oh yeah. Are you still there?
Yes.
Sorry. Something happened there. Yeah. With the thoughts of Mahrez and Greenwood. So my sources are telling me, based on what I've been reading, that Sancho is inevitable, quote unquote. He's coming to Man U this coming week. So I doubt that he'll play game week 4. But for long-term investment, I would lean towards Mahrez instead of Greenwood. I mean, Greenwood is a good price, but I'm just worried about Greenwood's game time when Sancho comes, because unfortunately, Ollie really likes Rashford, so I would lean towards Greenwood, unfortunately, getting the chopping block for minutes.
And your source or whatever actually does think that Sancho is on his way. Reading some sources. If he doesn't though, then Man United's had a very shocking transfer window. How do you think Sancho will do for Man United? How will he improve, and whose place does he take? Is it just as simple as Greenwood?
It has to be Greenwood. Unfortunately, I mean, he could play on the left or the right wing across the attack. But yeah, unfortunately, on form, I would have Rashford on the bench, but Ollie has his favourites.
There's various talk about Kevin De Bruyne may not play today. Firetog making a point here. Kevin De Bruyne not playing would seem about right, as I have him captain and Werner as vice-captain. Your thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne not playing? According to Jason the other day, at the end of the day, he continued playing.
No. This is just a gobbledygook. Kevin De Bruyne is like the first name on the team sheet in more or less every Premier League game, unless they're playing like Champions League football against a hard team. But Champions League football is not happening at the moment, so he's going to play. I think anyone that is saying about the whole like head clash earlier, he played on the rest of the game. So don't worry about it. Kevin De Bruyne will be playing. It's all chill.
Morning, Mr. Blue Nathan. Welcome to this early morning stream. Quick question from Lax Praven saying, how do you actually see the Man City versus Leicester game score-wise? I went 3-1 to Man City. I think it's going to be quite an open game, I'd like to think. But Dre, your thoughts on the game?
I think it'll be open. Ndidi is out for 12 weeks. And when you have Ndidi out for Leicester, their defence does not look good. I mean, Justin doesn't look as an attractive option anymore for me. So I think it's going to be goals. And I think that Man City is hungry for goals. I think I think that anyone that's captaining Man City owners, any Man City captain owners, I think this will be a good day for you, I feel. Goals, goals, goals.
Another regular contributor to the show is FPL Boona. I'm assuming they're going to be going live on the Llama Lounge this morning. I don't know, but anyway, he did his wildcard this week. It's up on screen at the moment for anybody listening in. It's Martinez, Trent James, Sai's Son, Sterling, Foden, Salah, Podence, Kane, Adams. I think is a beautiful team. Sterling is captain. What are your thoughts on his wildcard team?
Well, looking at the screen right now, ballsy team.
Ballsy?
He didn't get burned. He's very ballsy. He didn't go with any Everton, any Chelsea, and they didn't burn him too much. It's good. I like it, and I feel that yeah. I think that he should be getting points, but I think the only thing for me is I would always go for De Bruyne versus Sterling because I prefer consistency over explosivity. So
I've just realised
because Sterling.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, with De Bruyne. Yeah, sorry. See what you were saying?
No, it's my mistake. I've stupidly interrupted you. Carry on.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying. Like I prefer the consistency of Kevin De Bruyne over the explosivity with Sterling because I just can't get out of my head that open goal chance he missed against Lyon in the Champions League quarterfinal, and I'm like, fam, if I had this guy in my team in FPL and he did that, I might lose my long hair, man.
I think, based on what you said about not having Everton players, and who was the other team that you said not having? So Everton,
Chelsea.
I mean, the reality is,
apart from Reece James, but yeah.
The reality is he's got the top teams from the division. You've got double Liverpool,
true,
double. Okay, he's got triple Wolves, but you know what I mean. Double Wolves in his first 11. Double Wolves, double City, double Tottenham. And then he's got the odd pick from the more quote-unquote poorer teams in Martinez and Adams. And I think, to be honest with you, I think like Jason, I've always said this, Jason at the moment is in the prime position with all his price points because he's got Salah, Sterling and De Bruyne. Plus he's got a really good setup up front, whereas people like myself, Boona, we can't have Sterling and Kevin De Bruyne and Salah, so we've had to downgrade, if you call it it is a downgrade to Foden. So I really do like this team. And what are your thoughts on the game between Newcastle and Tottenham? I'm expecting quite a tight game, but 2-0, 1-0, 2-0 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 1 goal either way. I think it's 1 goal either way, in my opinion. I think Newcastle's going to be... They're going to play with the banks of 4. They're going to keep it tight. I think if it's going to be... I would be surprised if it was going to be a goal fest. I mean, if it starts off like West Brom Chelsea, I'd be... You and I would be absolutely stunned, I feel.
Yeah. Benjo saying, is having Salah captain still a good choice? We've already kind of discussed it, but... Me personally, because I've captained and my luck with captains is absolutely hopeless, so I wouldn't even think about it. And I don't know if you're aware or not, but thingamajig, what do you call it? I was saying on a tweet yesterday that basically put your money down on Richarlison scoring, Calvert-Lewin scoring, albeit 2+ goals or whatever. But I'm hoping that some people listen to that and put some money on it and won it and everything, because that'd be nice to hear for once. To be honest with you, Dre, I think that is going to be it from myself this morning. I only wanted to do a quick stream covering yesterday's fixtures. Before we let you go, Liverpool versus Arsenal. What do you expect from that game?
Well, I'm a crazy individual that still has Aubameyang in his team, but I have Trent in my team. So I think there might be loads of goals, and my score predictor is 6-2, but I'll be 99% wrong.
Dre, do you want to do some admin? Yes or no?
Yep, I'll do some quick admin. If you're brand new to the channel, guys, if you enjoyed this video, give this video a subscribe, because Elite FPL is the elite fantasy football channel for you. If you haven't already, give this a like, and thank you very much. My name is Dre Zero, this has been Stevo, and we shall zero later.
Dre Zera, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. All the best, Evo. Take care and bye-bye.
There's Dre Zera there. And yeah, like I said, thanks for joining me this morning for the quick wrap-up of yesterday's games. Other than that, all I will do is say make sure you tune in for Jason this afternoon, where he is covering the Man City versus Leicester game, and then he'll be doing the Sunday surgery this evening. Other than that, see you later, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Liverpool versus Arsenal game.